time, what I'm going to do is I have the pleasure right now of announcing our next guest. And again, I'm starting it off by playing. Wait, I turned to. It's already that volume down. I gotta get that volume up there because I love this song. This song is smooth as hell. It is smooth as hell. So I want everybody, all 7 of our damn viewers, and hopefully we got a lot more coming on later, to help me welcome Kelsey Miles to the show. Getting her in there. Here we go. Hey, Kelsey. We gotta get a sound.
We gotta get sound for her.
Yeah.
You're mistaken. No, you ain't missing a thing. There's no regret, good intent. No, you ain't missing a thing.
All right, we gotta get her straight. I'm not gonna. You want to hear all of that? You gotta go. We pinned her website in here, and you gotta go play it again. The album. Kelsey, can we got some sound out of you yet? We cannot hear you. We can. So hold on. We got to walk her through the
gear.
The gear. Do you see the little gear? If you click that, there should be something there that says microphone, and
I need to get a professional microphone.
I got to be honest. Whatever you have sounds great, man.
Yeah, to be honest, it does.
But he's going to go get a professional one anyway. Somebody get unboxed on his show.
No, not yet. Hold on. We have got it. There's no way we're not.
Let's see. Can you guys
There
see
we
me
go.
now?
No, there we
Yep. Got it.
There it is.
All right. So I'm going to use, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use my regular condenser. It won't work.
But you sound good. I got to be honest. You sound good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for playing that song. That's one of my favorites.
Oh,
Yeah.
It sounded great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very glad we got you on here. So where are you out of, Kelsey?
I'm out of Madison, Wisconsin.
She's had.
Madison's racking up on good artists. This is wow. You guys are like a best kept secret.
Yes. There's a lot of good artists in Madison. Yeah. It's been cool.
So you're from there.
I'm from Ohio, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ohio. Very nice. Are you obviously it's not like Cincinnati.
Ohio!
Hey.
Inside jokes. I love it.
I love it.
I got you.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
In the hood, we just be like, oh.
Let's see. That's my sleeping cat. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yep.
Sleeping right back.
Oh, very nice.
I love that picture back there.
Thanks. It's an acoustic diffuser I built out of 8-foot pieces of 2x2s and cut them.
Wow.
And then I painted each one, and then I made it look like a meteor. Yeah.
That's cool.
That was my pandemic art project.
Good job.
Thanks.
Multi-talented. So this guy's looking at his phone and not
Well, I'm doing that because Neil just texted me and said the feed is private. So I just was trying to check it.
I'm sorry. Did he say? Did everybody hear that right? Did he say feed is private?
Yeah.
Yeah, the feed is private.
I don't know where you're taking this show, but act nice now. You have the lady in the lower square now. You can't anymore. So how long have you been singing?
All my life, right? But as far as performing, I mean, I started less than 7 years ago was the first time I ever picked up the guitar.
wow.
Yeah, and then I fell in love with writing songs, and so I actually made a huge career change. I used to be a chemist, and then I quit that and became a full-time musician because I love writing music. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's when I had someone tell me that one of my songs meant something to them, and then they told me their story, I was sold after that. I was like, this is way bigger than myself. So yeah, it's changed my life. Yeah, it's been really cool.
Very nice. Is this your first release? Play it again.
Yeah, that's my first main release that I've done. I've done a couple singles, but that one's the first project. Yeah, that I released, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out for my first release. It was a learning process too, trying to get everything done. And I don't know about you guys, but the best way to get it done for me was I set an album release date, and then I just worked to finish it, because there's nothing more embarrassing than having an album release party and not having an album done. So it helped me.
Just gonna do singles. You just random singles. That's all you mixed.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you gotta. It's funny because we didn't even think that way. Like, as far as when an album was released, people are like, "Oh, when are you gonna schedule it?" I'm like, I don't even know when the album's gonna be done. So yeah, it's tough.
Rocking off the, just the off the cuff in between the Kai mixes. So it's like, you want to learn B today?
And then go.
B is for Blackwater, which I have to get Cass's vocal right. And yeah. He's kind of working off of that method. So our release date is sometime after Sesame Street.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming sooner than later. Yeah, Kelsey. So the band, who's in the band, and who are those folks?
Yeah. So right now my band members are Adam Nauman, lead guitar, Chris Ulbrich on drums. We've got Jason Pettit on bass, and then Anastasia Tomanek on backup vocals, and then Todd Phipps. He jumps in and played organ actually on that whole album. But I actually had other musicians on that because I write in between several genres. So I wrote some more rock tunes. So Scott Chazon is on drums, and then let's see who else. I had other people on there too. I had different lead guitarist Pat Stillman on there. Let's see. It was last year. I'm trying to remember everyone that I had on there. Yeah, but I pulled from some fantastic musicians all in Wisconsin, and to get the sound that I was kind of looking for. And I don't know, it was fun. It was really fun. I loved taking, and you guys know this too, right? When you write a song and then when you kind of look at it under a microscope, and just really pick apart everything. I love that part. That's really fun.
We're going to switch back. Well done, Cash.
Yeah. No, she's got to get the spotlight on.
Look at this. You're so fancy.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm
those guys again.
I'm producing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
We lost somebody again? We lost you again? You can't hear.
Well,
you can't hear.
He just can't see us.
I'm gonna hide him anyway because I want to share. I want to share this site, which is gorgeous. This is a very well designed site.
Oh, thank you.
Truly like this site. So we want to make sure that everybody is watching. Please check this site out. Well done. It is well done. Wow. This is like Warner, that's probably why we can't show our show. They're like, this is well done. This is really, really good. So I'm from New York, so I'm like officially a hater. So generally I don't like I don't know, man. I don't know, but this is nice. This is really nice. I'm looking to get you some more because you did that in 2019. So that was last year. Was it the end or the middle?
It was the middle. It was April. Yeah, April 2019. And then I'm due for another one. I've been writing a lot of music. I'm sitting on some music because with the pandemic, I didn't really feel like some of the songs I have ready to release are like, I'm just going to wait just a little bit longer. And then, I've been in the studio quite a bit since then. And I've been kind of dabbling in some more pop. I think it's important just to explore genres, right? I like everything. So there's a lot of, in that last album though, there's a lot of like blues rock is kind of what I would call it. There's some like singer-songwriter elements. There's some funk. There's straight up rock. There's like country elements too. So but I'm exploring right now. So I don't know. I'm excited. We'll see what happens for this year, what I'll end up releasing, but it's a surprise. I don't even know.
It's funny how you brought up like the genres too, because Cash and I discuss this all the time, and I discuss with other people. It's like, I honestly don't like saying hip hop for our music because I feel like that puts us in a box, and I'm like, it's really not. I mean, at the end of the day, people hear rap and they go hip hop, but I think it kind of, there's a lot more going on with it. And in your case, yours is just under rock. And there's a lot of other stuff going on with it. You know what? There's a line that you said, actually, it's all on you, where you say searching for perfection will drive you insane. I don't know. I really like that line. It stood out to me just because that's something that I think a lot of artists struggle with, because it's like you nitpick every little detail and you want it to be perfect. And there's a point though, especially if you're not on a budget and time and you got a bunch of moving pieces with a band. It's kind of like you go, this right here is not worth wasting more time on, So there's a point where you kind of go, it's good enough. And in my personal opinion, like imperfections actually are more perfect to me because it makes it more real. But you can spend so much time just going down a rabbit hole, especially like mixing an album, and poor Ryan, DJ Silent Beard, what he's dealing with, it's like 140 tracks. He wasn't there during tracking, and he's listening to things, and then he's asking me questions. I can explain it one way, but whether or not he understands or can visualize or hear what I'm trying to explain, there's just so much of that. So I'm sure you had to go through a lot of that on this album because it sounds fantastic. It really is mixed and mastered very, very, very well. Ba-da-doop.
So
yeah, getting lit up. By the way, Cash, here's the other thing. There may be nobody else watching this podcast except us right now because I think they didn't block it. Neil says you can't get on. It's like private because we played like some video.
Oh, really?
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's weak.
I disputed it while we were chatting. I disputed it.
That is not happening right now. Are you serious?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Funny. While you're figuring that out, Cash, what you just said, like, I totally relate to. So, there, like, I don't know what, I'll just tell you, when I was a chemist, we would have projects and we would end up finishing them and then writing an article. And the thing that we always kind of held to is that projects are never, ever finished. You just decide when to stop working on them. They are never finished. You're always going to, the thing is, I think with music, especially any creative thing, you grow as a musician.
I guess, except us.
While you grow as a musician while you are working on it. So by the time you get done with it, you might have been happy with it, but now you've grown, so you aren't. So it will never stop. So you almost just have to like cap it and just be like, this is what I was feeling then, and we're moving on. It's hard. It's so hard.
Absolutely. And Ryan has already said that because I mean, there's 17 songs in this album, and he's gotten, I don't know if we're through like 11 or 12, and he was just like, yeah, I already want to go back and like rework on some of the ones that you started with, and you're just kind of like, Maybe, but then the thing is you end up opening a can of worms. Whenever you go back and you touch one thing, it's like now you've created another issue. And I usually tell him that when he's working on something. I'm like, especially because Kit, who's the other producer, and Cash will listen to it, and they have input, right? So I usually say to him, I'm cool with you trying that as long as it doesn't mess up anything else. And I'll be like, do it in 3 to 5 minutes. And if you go past 5 minutes, I don't want you going down that rabbit hole because it's so easy. You know,
It really
we got
is.
Angelo back.
Yeah.
We did.
Cool.
Hello, Angelo.
Hi.
All right, I'm trying to figure out whether or not Warner Music Group pulled FCC.
Kicked you off.
We're live. I can still see us, but it doesn't look like anybody else can join. That's all right. That means this video is still posted, and now we have chances to edit. So that means we can cuss.
We're not editing cussing out of this. Absolutely not. No, but that's cool. That's right. We're recording, so we can always just put it up afterwards. So,
So, Kelsey, what goes into how does when you decide you want to do a song? What's the process? Walk us behind the process. Is it the vibe for the song? Do you come down with the music first? Do the words hit you first? Things like that. What's the process?
Yeah, I love this question because there's no good answer. So every song is different, and sometimes every song's different. There's different ways it goes about to start. Sometimes I'm think of a melody line, and I might not have the right words that I'll end up using for the chorus, but phonetically it's like what I want. Anyway, I sing the melody line and I'm like, that is catchy, or that I love it. I'm going to write around that melody line. Sometimes I'll be playing on my guitar and then I'm like, I love this chord progression and I like the vibe, and like the rhythm of it. And then I'll write over top of that. My main thing though, when I write, because I also play, is I find it really important to write music and lyrics and melody lines kind of all at the same time. So as I start to dive into the song, that's what gives you the feeling that you want. Because if you just have music, you have to have the lyrics that also portray that same feeling, right? They all have to kind of go to the same, destination. So when I write, a lot of times it's just on my guitar. Piano. I started writing more songs on piano. I'm not a pianist. I just know how to play chords and I futz around. I just mess around until I get it. And then I also like to do sometimes what helps me too is I'm not a drummer, but I like finding rhythms that I like, and then I'll pull those and use those for demos to give the musicians I'm working with, hey, this is the vibe, and then we start adding on top of that. But I love lyrics. I think lyrics are so powerful with melody and music. There's if you want to describe a feeling, you can't just do it with lyrics. You need lyrics and music. Those together, it's so powerful. So a lot of times when I'm writing, I'll use words that I wouldn't normally use to describe something just because it sounds better.
Okay.
With that, at that note, with that music and rhyming different words, this, with you can have creative words that rhyme based on how you sing it. So
and you can make up words too. Making up words that aren't real words.
Yeah, today we learned that.
I'm sure, Cash, you have a million you could think of. The first one that popped in my head is math magician that I used recently. It's not a freaking real word.
Wow.
No, Bill Burr.
You got me absurd.
Oh, that's just your Easter eggs. He has Easter eggs. What he does is he messes up a word, and then we don't catch it until after it's printed. And then we call them Easter eggs because it's
I love it.
never rap what I wrote on the paper. It's
Never.
It's like close. It's really close, and then it's like he looks at me all the time. And he's like, "You didn't say that. Like, why do you have that there?" And you didn't say that. I'm like,
well, I don't know how your brain does it. Like, and then you're not even nearly as bad as Atlas. Like Aaron, there was one time, I don't remember which song it was. He had it written on a piece of paper and everything was crossed out. Like there were things crossed out and all over the place, like in different locations. And he's like doing it. And I'm like, how is your brain going from, I couldn't even like look at the piece of paper and make any sense of it.
oh yeah.
And he's like rapping.
Are you paper or phone? Or computer? What are you writing your lyrics down on?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, Kelsey.
I'm paper. Now I use my phone a lot when I'm like traveling in my car, and I write a lot. Well, I'm not traveling anymore. No more shows. But I travel a lot. I just I always am writing songs and singing into my phone, and then I'll do that a lot. But I love writing. There's something about that physical act that I do a lot of free writing too. That helps me with lyrics. I'll be playing a song and then I'll pick up my notebook and I'll free write with that vibe of what I want to say, or that feeling. And a lot of times, I don't know, some musicians, I think they box themselves in. I want to know what you guys think about this. I don't always have a theme, the title. Some people do the title of the song and then they
content, concept.
Very clear concept of what the song is. Sometimes I write and allow the concept to come to me so that it really, like, I have the music and then I allow the concept to come. Like, oh, I'm gonna write. After I do a free write, I'm going to write about this concept. And I do that sometimes because I think it's easy to pick music and then it doesn't quite map onto the concept. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like when you listen to things, there's a mood, especially if you're going off of a melody or something like that, that may cause you to think something that particular day. Whenever you sit down to write, and you may even after the fact listen to it and be like, yeah, the two don't fit together, but because you don't know whether it was the melody or whatever you listened to that created that feeling or that vibe, or if it was something else that you were going through that day. It's just sort of a combination. I go both ways on that. I mean, obviously this album, it was very conceptual, but what's interesting is I knew the concepts of the songs, but not necessarily which melody, which would go with which concept, so you start with these templates and then you go, well, you know what? I know we need to do a song about this. So let's put that works with this particular melody. I think that's how we did this one. But I mean, I feel like it varies constantly. Every song, I end up doing probably Cash same way. And obviously in your case, it sounds that way too.
Well, I vibe. Since I'm not a producer, since I don't make beats, most of the time I have to rely on the music. The inspiration for me has to come through the music because I don't make beats. So it's like if I hear the melody, once I hear like the pace of the song, the melody, there's certain things I'm really that I'm really attracted to in songs. I love piano. I love things that create opportunity for harmony. And so when I write, I'm letting the music already dictate what I'm gonna write, so that way I feel like I'm naturally fitting this song, because I don't sing, so I don't sing like, and so I'm trying to think of all that. Like I feel like my voice should just be another instrument to the music, and so I kind of write from that perspective to try to like, okay, let me fit the theme, and everything kind of flows naturally. With it and that, I mean, a lot of that was easy on this album. At least, once songs get to a certain point, then it's easier. Like once I have like drums and I have I could kind of like, here's the finished vision a little bit more, then it's a lot easier for me to write. But
But your whole situation is different.
Right. Yeah, Kelsey, you're definitely like multitasking. All these various things have to come into your mind because you're thinking if the words hit you first, then that's the starting point. And that's kind of like what it all spirals out from. If the chords hit you first, then that's what dictates, the direction. At least I would feel maybe that's how it would go.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, and there's sometimes I'll write lyrics, and then I'll be trying to write the music to it, and then I scrap. I'm like, these don't go together, and then they just don't. And I, man, you guys talked about like being a perfectionist and how like musicians are really like hard on ourselves and we want it to be perfect. I mean, I'm sitting on so many songs that I won't release because I just don't think they're good enough. And I wonder if I would have felt that way like 2 years ago or something, So it's hard. Yeah, I don't know. Well, 17 tracks though. That's a lot, you guys.
It's actually not. I think about it. I think it's actually. Is it 18? No, it's going to be 18 now because we're going to put the Blackwater Live on there. Well, I actually, especially when the pandemic hit and we kind of, at first it was like everybody was going to have more time. Like Ryan was going to have more time to mix. It was just basically everybody was going to have more time. And then within a week, it went the other direction. Like everyone was like, "Oh my God, there's all this other stuff," and I thought I was going to have less time with work, and you're still working live on there. We got Facebook in the background playing.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, sorry.
That's all good. Angelo, are you working a lot right now?
Working as in like work?
Yeah, from home.
Yeah, it's busier than ever right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's working from home. And it's double the workload. But yeah.
Yes, it's interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean,
how a lot of people got in that situation.
Yeah, certain jobs, if you're in a customer service type aspect or sales or something along those lines, and that's kind of the case. But I mean, I'm glad I have a job, and I'm glad I'm working for a company that's still employing people and it's still working and going strong. So that's good. But I wasn't live, I don't think, earlier, but I just wanted to tell you guys that this is a great conversation for me to be listening to as someone who just loves music but doesn't know anything about it. Like, I can sing it if I hear it. I can sing along to it. That's about it. But for like to hear you guys talk about how it's like how it comes to fruition, and it's like that's amazing to me because I've always thought that, like, how does that even happen? Like, it's like the chicken and the egg. And it's like what, like, where, like, how does it even start? And even when you're talking about it and telling me how you're doing it, I'm still confused by it, being like, wait, what? How do you still make that mix and match up? Like, that's a talent. It's amazing to me. So I'm just sitting here like this.
I know, you're just like
listening to you guys because I'm like, wow, like that is so hard. There's so much that goes into it.
I so wish my condenser mic was working because I would just I could do something really cool for you and I could show you with I just don't think the sound is gonna be good if I play my guitar. I could just show you like an example of like what's up?
Let's see. Let's try it out and let's see. We'll let you know if the sound is good.
I wanna okay, I'm gonna try again.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you just did didn't work.
It just stopped. She's having great bandwidth right there.
I can't. I feel like the bandwidth overall, everybody, we've all been kind of bouncing around.
So what happens when you have everybody home and working from home?
We're still waiting.
Yeah.
It's still no sound.
Angela, your freaking video looks fantastic, man.
Thanks, man.
Doesn't it?
That's probably what's crashing everybody else. It's so good.
I'm using everybody's
all the bandwidth.
Sucking up all the big shows bandwidth.
That's funny. You know, while she's doing that, so we were talking about the 17 songs. Yeah, we were gonna split it up. And I was like, who was it? Ryan was just like, actually, I think Kit said the same thing. Maybe Alex. They were like, you can't split up the album. I was thinking about doing it like the two discs, right? Like, and everybody was just no, can't do it. It all goes together. And I was like, all right, fine. It's like 5 vinyls. It would cost like $8 million to like print 500 vinyls.
Jesus.
All right, well, how are we doing over there?
Can you hear me?
Gotta go to this.
Now we can.
Yeah.
All right. I have no idea if this is going to work okay, though. With Zoom, when I do anything on Zoom, the audio sounds like crap. Can I cuss on here? Yeah. Okay, good. I don't care. It sounds like shit
Yeah, we have a
on
parental
Zoom.
advisory that goes up.
Perfect. All right. How does this sound?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Does it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, here's the thing. All right, Angela. So I'm going to take the song because you guys played it already earlier. This is You Ain't Missing a Thing. And in the intro, you'll hear. So in the song, you're going to have these hits. And the reason that I wrote the song with these hits, okay, cool. I was going to move back. Maybe you could see my guitar a little more. So the reason I wrote the song with the hits is in the chorus. So when I wrote the song, I didn't have the hits at first. And the reason I added them was because in the chorus I sing, you ain't missing a thing. You know, so I sing these words that kind of needed, in my opinion, they needed a little more of a hit. Uh-huh. So for the intro, I could have done it for the chorus. I could have gone. But instead, I changed it faster. So I went. So I'm going to sing it, and I'll show you how that maps onto the lyrics. So, the time you wasted, you're mistaken. Oh, you ain't missing a thing. So I'm emphasizing you ain't missing a thing, you know, by adding that those guitar hits. So that's something little to kind of show you how I utilize music and lyrics kind of together. I could have played the song like you know, like more of like straightforward kind of strumming up and down strumming, but instead I go like on an and on that one. So I'm adding this like I don't know, the song is about how you're letting go of a toxic person. I want it to sound happy.
That's awesome.
I want it to sound like contemplative and, you know, yeah. So that's kind of how I utilize, both of those to get the feeling across.
Now, with that specific song, what came first, the music or the lyrics?
Actually, it was a slower song. It was it was on my guitar, and I believe it was a lower key. I won't play that on the lower key. But, I think it was. I know that it was some I was doing some what they're called hammer-ons. I can't even play it now. It was a lot slower. It was just like a lot slower, and I think I was doing a lot different melodically. And then I decided to speed it up. And then I took it to my rock drummer friend because I was like, this has a rock beat. I need someone that's like gonna go to town on this thing, you know. And he killed it. Big, you know, crashes and, you know, a nice tom work. So this one came with guitar first, and then I was writing a different melody line over top of it that I can't remember. And then I just got pissed off at someone that I got rid of in my life.
There it is. There
Yeah.
it is. There's the inspiration.
And I realized they made me feel like, or they told me that I needed them in my life, right? And then I was like, no, I don't. You're making things so much harder. So I got rid of them, and I hate saying that, but I always give people lots of chances, and that one ran out. So got rid of them, and then I just felt so much better.
And you ain't missing a thing.
That's usually how it happens.
You ain't missing a thing. The time that you wasted, and it's just, yeah. So I think the first lines of the words are one final breath filled with contempt. It's just, you ain't missing a thing when you let someone like that go. But I wanted it to be strong, right? That's why I added those hits.
Yeah, like punch it in.
That's awesome.
Now I'll say this too, like, so for Angelo here.
That
go
song's
ahead.
That's on the album.
Okay.
That is on the album.
It's a great album. It really is.
Like
it
that.
sounds fantastic. I wasn't expecting it to sound that.
It's only 7 tracks. I gotta be honest.
I'm so grateful for Landon Arkins at Blast House. So he mixed and mastered my album, and he did a great job. It went through. I'm like, bless his heart. I love him. He dealt with me. I'm such a perfectionist. He'd send back great tracks, and I would just send back a list of edits, and we would sit down, and he was so patient.
I'm with
you. He was so patient with me. Yeah.
Same with our guy.
Did amazing. And he listened. He knew he could take my broken audio engineer English and turn it in to exactly what I wanted to sound like. And we went through so many iterations and a lot of changes. And my main thing, though, when we recorded this, in my opinion, it should sound really good raw. So I'm very particular when I'm recording with my band. It needs to be the best it can be going in. I don't want tons of processing to have to make it sound good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I push. And then I also push for, I love recording live. I like recording the entire band playing. It gives the vibe. And there's tracks, like scratch tracks of vocals, and they're quite hilarious. One day I should pull them out, and it's me like pushing the band, and I don't know if they know I'm doing this, but I'm just trying to feed as much of the correct energy, into the microphone. And sometimes you'll hear me say, yeah, like, all right, let's hit it. Or like, all right, like, give me this real good groove now, or whatever. And I'll say things like that. And so it's like, the vibe needs to be there. The drummer and the bassist, I need them. Those are always grabbed from the live take. And then you can start adding in after that. But I try to do most of it live. It has the feel of the song.
There's definitely like the vibe. And that was one of the things, especially with this album. We didn't get to record it the way you did. We had a very small studio. Oh, did you lose me?
No, I can hear you.
Oh, so Angelo just can't hear me? Now we switched up.
I can't see Nate.
Okay. We're going to be, you're probably going to have to do that thing again.
Oh,
here we go again.
See you guys later.
We didn't get to do the whole, like everybody playing it at once. But that one thing that was very important was, at the very least, having as many of the guys in the studio at the same time and creating that vibe. So even if everybody wasn't playing at once, if they were taking turns, whatever, it was like the vibe is a big part of it. And there's certain that you figure out how certain people are motivated. There's certain things that motivate others, or there's a way that you figure out how to talk to certain artists where they're not thinking. I mean, you just gotta figure it out. It's like with anything else, with sales or anything with Angelo does sales, is you just gotta do it enough times where you get used to hey, this person responds best to this. So like Robin, the drummer, he's a field drummer.
Oh yeah.
So I would give him as little instruction as possible off jump, and then just kind of let him play. And then I'd have different moods for, hey, this one, just kind of like play it like there's no lyrics going to be on it, right? Nobody's singing on it. So you can do a little crazy stuff and then strip it down in the next take. And then we'd hone in on certain spots and he'd have ideas. But I've noticed with him, there's been times where like there was something I really wanted him to do. And I think this is probably where probably the difference between good producers and okay producers or bad ones is I would hear something in my head and I'm pushing him to kind of get that down. And this was with everybody in the band. And you get to a point where you realize they're getting frustrated because in their head, it's different. Like they're not hearing it that way. If they can get your concept and go, all right, this is how I can kind of get to that place. But if they're fighting with their hands or whatever want to do, then you're not going to get the right result. So I would usually notice that with him and then just be like, all right, well, is there a way we can get to a space where it's sort of that way, but more the way that your brain wants you to do it? And that's kind of how we would find a middle ground on that. And he was really good at it. But I know that with other producers he's had, it's just like he'd get burned out because you got somebody that's like forcing you to do something that isn't natural.
Oh yeah. I love working with Robin. Like you just, I feel that vibe, like you said, like when things are live, you're playing with the band, you're doing it with the band, and you're trying to get them. You turn into a conductor.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like, just looking at them, and trying to get that vibe out of them. Like that's what with Robin. Like I love being present for Robin, the drummer you're talking about, because I just like I'm sitting in the we got some great video. I'm just like, I'm air drumming, and then you could see he's like picking it up, like he's like he operates off of that. Like it's got to be a great feeling, like just sitting there. So when you're saying you play live, you have like your drummer, your other guitar, your bass, all there at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm in a separate room singing and playing acoustic or piano, whatever the song is. This one I didn't do any piano. And then drummer and then bassist and my lead guitarist all in the same room. Their amps are in soundproof different rooms. Gotcha. And then all different, we all have our monitor, our headphones and stuff. And then my backup singer, we bring her in afterwards just to make it a little simpler, I guess. And then but we don't have her on there yet. And then there was something that you had said that made me want to ask you a question about this. You were talking about what you're kind of talking about, though. It seems like you're almost writing the song in the studio. Is that right?
That's interesting.
I am.
Yeah, well, sort of. So I would say that, well, a lot of these songs started with Tony playing acoustic. So he lived not far from me. So we started kind of working where he would come over, and he's also a field player, and he's never done any music related, like being in a studio or playing with a band. So he has no concept of like how songs are created. Like to him, he's like, I got 25 songs. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean by a song? Right. And to him, a song is, I got a chord and I kind of like change it up and jam off of it. Right. Like I have a core little thing. But he wouldn't have any like lyrics or anything like that. So to him, like he didn't have a concept of the song really. But we would sit down and he would just play, or he'd say, I got this one cool thing, right? And I'd listen to him and I'd be like, I like this, and we'd take that. But a lot of times too, he would it depends on what trees he smoked that day. Sorry, we're not even live anyway. But he would go someplace sometimes where it's like he's gone, and I would say he's gone rogue. Like so, he, like I call him Wedge from Star Wars because he just go rogue, man. And there's sometimes where I just let it record, right? And then it's almost like live sampling where I go back and I pull certain things out of it and then sort of build the track. And then if we need to like replay certain things, we would end up doing that. But I started with these sort of guitar templates, and then it was taking that. Tony also played bass, so we'd have him add some bass to that. And then I would use Logic Drummer to create fake drums for Robin. I called it Fake Robin because I got to the point where I could kind of figure out how Robin would play it. And so I'd make the drums sort of the way that I've heard him playing it. And then we get in the studio, and that would be the next thing, is laying down the drum tracks and having no concept of the overall. Well, here's the other thing, Kelsey, you have to keep in mind is I was moving. So because we were moving, I went into scramble mode because I'm like, I'm going to be so far away from all these guys. And we had just started this project. So I dealt with it a little bit different than I would have if I had been there and we had more time to flesh things out, because I didn't write hardly any of the lyrics. A couple of the songs we had like Cash and I had sort of put together. But for the rest of them, it was recording all the drums before I left to come to Madison. And then I sat there that entire summer out on the back porch writing all the songs is what I ended up doing. And then once you write the songs, those sequences develop a certain way differently. You know, I might have had 16 bars for a verse. And then I go, well, what if it's 8 bars for a rap verse? And then it goes into this. And so it just changes as you're kind of working on it. And I think, Angela, one of the things I was going to say to you, because Kelsey's, you're very technical, and this is something that like Kit is too. Like he'll explain things to me from a musician sort of perspective. And I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I can't, my brain doesn't work that way because I don't really play an instrument. I played trumpet, and to me, everyone's like, oh, it's a really hard instrument to play. Well, to me, it's not. It's like there's 3 valves, and it's just, I don't know. To me, it wasn't that difficult. But when I see people playing guitar, and there's so many different ways you can play things, the concept of how you even do it blows my mind. I don't understand it. And I don't really understand time signatures and all that stuff. So it's very different when I go in as a producer and I'm telling people to play things based on not understanding all the music theory and more or less being like, I break rules that I probably shouldn't break because I have no concept of them. So there's all these things that are different for like Angela. If you were to do anything over and over, right, you get good at it regardless. Yeah. You know, it's not like somebody wakes up one day and just like, I mean, there are people that do this, but for the most part, you're like, I feel there's something inside me and I need to get it out. Oh, what was that? Did you guys hear that? Or is it just me?
I heard it. I don't know who's it.
Oh, all right. Good deal. At least it stopped. I was like, dang, man, that was frightening.
Cash, you're muted.
He probably unplugged his mic cord. So what was I talking about? I forgot where I was.
When you do something over and over again, you become
So it's like you start, and then, I mean, like when I first started writing rap bars and stuff, it was, you know, it's very simple. You don't even understand the concept of like double and triple rhyme schemes. And you get to a point where you just do it so much that you start being able to kind of see the process and understand how it works. It's like anything else. I mean, there's people that are musically talented, but in order to kind of really be good at what you do, it's doing it every day and understanding your shortcomings. And then also like on a band level, that's one of the things. It's like, I can't play these instruments, right? So I got people that around me that are really talented from different genres that can do things. And I have to speak to them in a way that's different depending on the individual, and also understanding their level of music theory or whatever. And the fact that it also helps to have someone like Kit, where Kit's very technical. I can describe something from a producer, this is what I'm hearing and this is what I wanted to do, and he can translate that to a musician to be like, all right, you know, he can do it in a way that I can't, whether it's he's describing quarter, a 16th notes and stuff. And I've gotten much better at that, and I can grab my trumpet and play it and be like, oh, it's C, or, you know, it's B flat. But if I hear like somebody like Kelsey, if you were to play a note, I wouldn't be able to like, yeah, that's an A. No, I just hear things and I'll go, this is what I want to hear. And this is how I want to put it together.
That saying, practice makes perfect, doesn't come from, you know, it came from somewhere. And that's exactly what it is. Like, you do it over and over again, and then you become really good at it. Just like kind of like in like something that I would do in an everyday life that I can think of that can relate to that is like golf.
Yeah.
Like I can golf because the more I do it, the better I get at it. And I can also watch somebody and they don't know what they're doing wrong, but by looking at them, I can instantly tell them what they're doing wrong and, you know, show them and try to fix it and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, but on a musical level, that's, just but you guys talk about it is just amazing. Like, to me, it's like the behind the scenes. It's crazy.
Angelo, I know nothing about golf. So what? There's different clubs, right, that you can use. Okay, give me a name of a club. I know nothing.
So there's a driver.
Okay, great.
that's the really long, big one.
If let's say you and I were like, we were playing golf, and then you were gonna like help me, and you were like, "Go, can you just grab your driver? This is what you need for this shot." And I'd be like, "I have no idea what I have no idea." That'd be like if Nate had told a musician, like, or if maybe someone told you, like, Nate, like, "Hey, actually, I think we should change this song to 6/8 rather than, 4/4 or whatever." Like, maybe you know that. I shouldn't say that if you don't know that. Or like, I don't know if they say like, "Oh, we're gonna modulate to this to A in the after 16 measures or something." It'll be like, wait, what? Some musicians might not know. Some are just creatives that maybe don't know that. Other musicians, though, if I told a musician, when I first started, I didn't know all these terms. I had to learn like what a driver was so that I could tell my golf buddy to go grab the different club, because I didn't know the terminology. And so I had to learn that so that I could communicate it to them, and they could communicate to me like, "Hey, on this measure, let's pick it up on the and of the second measure." I'm like, "Okay, cool. That makes sense." They're like,
yeah. I get it when you say it like that. It's just like learning anything, because like, I don't know, going into my job, for instance, telecom, same thing. I was in outside sales and I was selling fire suppression systems and stuff like that. And my aunt tells me that there's an opening in the telecom world and you should come check it out. I know a buddy of mine. And then, like, for the first 2 weeks I was walking into there doing training, I was like literally in tears. I was like, just started a family and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like, I have known nothing about telecom, not one thing. And now I'm been in it for almost 17, 18 years. So like, you learn from the start, like, just like you're saying, that's like, you didn't know what the terminology was.
The terminology. And it's like a way to communicate with people, that, because otherwise you're just, I don't know, a lot of times I would just sing at them. Like, I'd be like, "Hey, I wanted to be like this." And now I could, like, on my piano, like, okay, these are the notes, like, this is what I want. In fact, when I first started, I didn't even know, like, I had to, well, you guys, no one's a guitar player, right? Never mind. Don't worry about it. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff I had to learn a lot of stuff so I could communicate it better to everyone. Otherwise it was really hard. And now I create my own demos and stuff too, because I learned enough to where I could. And then I'm learning like drumming terms and stuff too, and like how to help them with that. But I'm lucky. My bass player is awesome at like communicating the correct drum terminology. So I'm learning from my band members and stuff too. And
yeah, you got to have a translator. That's the thing and that's that with Robin, I can communicate with him pretty decently, because I understand, like with hip hop, I understand like kind of the drum terminology and I can pick up on it. But when it comes to, like time signatures and stuff, it's funny because we're working on this and it's almost done, this Kenny Rogers medley. It's Condition, and then it goes into the Gambler, and it's got trap drums on it. So I created these tracks, so it sounds like hip-hop country thing. It's pretty cool. But I sent it over to Cash, and I mean, Kit did this weird thing where it went like 5/4 to 4/4 back to 5/4, and it's like if you're trying to get your brain to do that as a rapper too.
No.
And normally I write on things that probably are weird time signatures. I know it's weird, and I figure out it's like a boss fight is what I described it to the Cash the other day, where you're like, man, I tried to beat this guy like 8 times. I tried to get by Bowser like for 4 hours and I can't do it. Right. So then you put it aside, and then 2 weeks later you go back and then you kick his ass in like the first try. And I was just grinding. I'm like, man, I got to be able to figure this out. But you can't get any sort of rhythm going because it kept changing up and it was driving me nuts. And I said to him, because he got frustrated and was just like, yeah, man, nah, I can't do it.
It was not fun anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'll push through things. He's at, unless it's fun, I'm not doing it.
It's all
like
for me now. It's all,
yeah.
I'm writing strictly off vibe now. Like it's, I think I've put in the work before where it was like, everything was, yo, here's the beat. You got to have this song done by then. You got to do this, things like that. And it's so much harder to write under those circumstances.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, being a producer. I don't produce. I don't play any instrument. I'm in awe of you because you can play multiple instruments like that.
Me too.
Incredibly. Because, like, I got weird fat fingers. I did hit 2 keys at the same time. Like, it's horrible. So, I'm in utter amazement of that. And you can sing, so it's just all around just incredibly dope. Like, you're amazing.
Thank you.
It's, as for me, I'm just like, I just write. Like, all I do is write. Like, I'm just a rapper, so I just write. But it is a lot to, like, for me, I try to be very poetic and use a lot of double entendres, a lot of double meanings behind things. And so I always want to be clever when I'm writing. I always want to make sure that I'm not just saying it the same way everybody else would say it. And I want to try to say something to at least make you, if not think, at least feel something. And it's very intentional behind my bars. And so there's always like that vibe. Like, it's very, it's when you're dealing, like, one thing I think we're very fortunate with this group is that it's very easy to communicate to them what it is that you want or what it is that you're trying to get out of a song. Like, even though we don't speak the technical jargon, we're still able to convey it to them. I feel like because we're all musicians and we're all artists, because it's not all musicians, because we're all artists, that we still share that same bond, that same vibe where you understand creative. You can get somebody to believe in your vision for the song, then it's a lot easier to communicate to them what you want them to do.
Yeah, and you use that that's one of the things that I did, especially with like certain people. I remember when Jordan was singing on Time to Drink, I was like, this is what this song is about, because he wasn't nailing the emotion. And I'm at it, like, Kelsey, you sound great, but there's a lot of people on this album, as far as like, there's nobody on this album that can sing as good as you, period.
Oh.
But they all have, a lot of them really are great at conveying emotion. And to me, that was more important.
Absolutely. Hands down. I mean, hands down. We'll take tracks that I'll sing. And if the emotion, like, I could sing it perfectly.
Right.
But if the emotion isn't there, I don't take it. In fact, there was something I want to tell you about this album. So 2 of the songs, I actually went back in, I scrapped them and re-recorded them from scratch. Because guess what? The vibe wasn't there.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. And Landon looked at me, my audio engineer. He was like, really? He was like, it sounds good. I was like, I know it sounds good, but it doesn't sound as good as I want it to. The vibe wasn't there. I didn't cry when I listened to it. And I was like, nope. There was a sadder song. My title track played again. Vibe wasn't there. So I had to bring in, I actually brought in a different drummer on that one. It just didn't work. And then It's All on You, I redid that one as well. It's, the vibe is so important. And Cash, I had a question for you about your lyrics. So something I've found through fans of mine that would listen to songs and talk to me about them, is that there's like levels of hearing a song and appreciating it. And this is what I love about lyrics. Okay. Lyrics add this extra dimension, like good lyrics, especially like you're talking about these double meanings and such. So the first time you listen to a song, you want it to be something that catches your ear, that's enjoyable, that sounds good, feels good, or bad, or whatever feeling, right? You're like going after. And then as you keep going, you keep listening to the song more, maybe it comes up again, you start to peel off more layers. You maybe start to hear instrumentation you didn't hear. You start to hear more of the, if we just talk about lyrics. So first time you hear it, you probably catch, maybe if you have like a chorus, maybe like a something that maybe repeats quite a bit, they'll hear that. Second time, they maybe catch on to some more of the verses. Third time, they dive in more. And fourth time, or whatever, how many times, as they keep going deeper, they really start to pick apart the lyrics and ask themselves questions about them. Wait, what is that? What does that mean? Hold on, because that could mean two things. And I think that's the coolest thing about songs with intent to write lyrics that are thought-provoking or deep, because it gives this song, it's not just a surface level, I want you to feel like this. It's a ever changing, it can be ever changing depending on your mood and what day it is and whatever when you listen to it, but it could mean something different to other people. And it's like, I don't know, it's so cool, right?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And then the other thing that I've recently noticed about this album too is I forgot what I was thinking when I wrote the songs, because you end up writing it and then you record it, right? And then now you're in producer mode, right? In engineer mode, and listening to the mix, and you're focusing on all these little pieces, right? And now at this point, it's like all one solid unit. And it isn't until you get that mix to where it's almost done, where, at least with me, that I'm capable of listening to it, and then I go, wait, where was I when I wrote this song, and like what was going through my head? And then I actually listened to the lyrics again. And it's also interesting because I'm not the one singing a lot of the singing lyrics, so I forget about those, right? I end up going, okay, these aren't actually mine. They become somebody else's. Like they became Bess, or they became Kit's, or Eric's, or whoever else was singing on it. They're not, like, I feel like they're not mine anymore. And then when I listen to it and I go, this is what I was going through at that time. And it's really interesting to, I don't know, just put yourself in that place and go, I remember exactly what I was feeling at that time when I wrote this song. Yeah, it's really neat. And then the double meanings. Go ahead, Cash. Sorry.
Because I was going to say, along with that, I think there's, so to speak with you to what you just said, Kelsey, is that there's the emotion I have when I wrote it, and there's the emotion behind the lyrics. So like as you're giving it listens, there's a feeling that I may either wanted to get conveyed for myself, or that I wanted the audience to feel. And I may have wrote it maybe with slight intention behind that. But then I think there's also the sonic part that I think about what it's going to sound like after it's recorded and after it's mixed, because there are definitely things, and I don't know, maybe it's just the way I write. There's times I think, like when I say a certain part, I'm thinking of how I want to say it and how I want it to, like, it's not just me just saying the words, like here's the words. Because I think with rapping, a lot of people don't understand that it's not just your cadence, it's your tone. A good rapper to me changes up his tone. Or, you got to be singing. That's one of the things that made like Biggie so popular. It was that he sounded like he was singing. Who the fuck is this? Page of me at 546. You know what I'm saying? Like he's singing that. He's not rapping that song. He's singing that song. And that's one of the things that I look for in an artist, that I try to at least behind myself. I'm trying to sing these lyrics as best as I can. So there's an intention behind the words, but there's also an intention and behind how I'm saying them, because I want you to not just get that, oh, that's a clever line,
feel it.
Right, exactly. There should be something behind that either you relate to, you understand, that I'm hoping in some way I get a piece of you that just goes, all right, you know, like you said, feel that, like you feel that.
And
And
just
you were
from
really
That's cool.
just from the average singer, and like this is perfect. You guys are the pros, and I'm the person who listens, and like I'm the guy that you're talking about that feels all these things that you guys are trying to produce and make. So it's literally I'll be in my car driving to the store or driving to where and I can tell what type of mood I'm in that day based on the song that I'm singing and how deep I can get into that song and how the emotions hit you. And like I'm not just singing the song, I'm like performing the song in my car. Like it's crazy. And
that's why we do what we do.
you guys do that. That's what I'm just saying. That's like you guys make that happen, and I thank you guys.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you for like listening, man, and just supporting like music in general. And I mean, that's the thing. Next time you listen to it, might give you a different perspective on how it's put together. Going back to Cash real quick because I want to address this. That's one thing that Cash, kudos to you. He always pushed with me is I would write a verse and then I would rap it, and he would always say to me, think about how you would say that to somebody. If you were saying that not as if you were rapping, but if you were telling somebody that, you know, whether it's your friend, your daughter, your significant other, like how would you actually, the tone of your voice when you say certain words? And he always stressed that with me, which made me a much better MC is, all right, I could do my like certain monotone kind of flow, but no, it's like, how would you say that word? And even going like, I'm talking like this, but if I was to get excited about something, it's like, yeah, but what are you doing? You know, like your voice changes. So really just trying to focus on that because I'm not as good of a rapper as Cash and a lot of other people, but I make up for it in areas, you know, and that's the best thing to do.
So that's what I sing.
You're way up on us. Even if you know what though, next year you'll probably be rapping. So just add that to the arsenal.
I'll just call you guys. That's all I'll do.
Yes, please do.
There you go.
This was really fun. I gotta head out. I got a morning show I gotta get ready for. I do a Facebook Live every Thursday morning. And anyway, this was really awesome though. It was really nice to meet you guys and chat about. This was really fun.
Man, thank you very much for watching our show. When this goes back and everybody watches this again after the replay, make sure you'll go. It's scrolling. It's been scrolling by for the last like 90 minutes. So go to KelseyMiles.com, grab that, play it again. You will enjoy it. I promise you. Miss Kelsey, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, you guys have a good night, all right?
You too.
Good night.
All right, so we're back. We're still live. So I mean, I'm assuming this feed is pretty much
this is a wrap. This is for posterity, baby.
Yeah, but we can like get off the video, or we can just pull the video later and put it up.
Okay. Does it show people online?
So I don't know if whether or not like once it's done, will it just go to video? Like just be it might just be in the videos.
So I had this happen to me one time because I was playing music in the background and they said that they pulled my video, but they never did.
Okay.
No, I don't think they really pull it. In this case, whatever was happening, people could no longer see the feed. So that was a wrap. We know that, but it'll probably be up on replay. Yeah. I actually contested it today, but like I said, Angelo, I don't know how much attention they're paying to that. I think it's sort of like we're warning you, and if we need to go back and check for some reason because you're making money off it, then they'll worry about it. But I don't think it'll be a problem as long as
about it. Yeah, because it's just we were clowning, and plus it's kind of protected under the whole YouTube thing where we're offering criticisms. So it's like we're not trying to profit off of it, and we're not playing the whole thing. But I guess it went a little too long. So
how do these people do it? Where they're sitting there and they're doing like on Instagram constantly? There's these girls doing workout videos and stuff like that, and they have all this music going in the background, and it's like they're working out to this music. Like, how do they get away with that?
No idea. I mean, I think in some places, some sites are a little bit more lenient than others.
Yeah,
I feel like
it also
considerably more lenient, given all the booty That's constantly showing.
Yeah, this
I
is
would
true.
also say this thing. Especially when it comes to like something like Instagram or any of these other like YouTube or whatever the case may be. There's a point where, like on YouTube, let's say we did a video and it had a Michael Jackson song playing in the background, right? Like I'm going to get a copyright notification. I can contest it. So most of the time, actually, what YouTube has done now is you'll get a notification that says, this song in this section is owned by whatever record label or whoever has the masters, whatever. And they'll end up like, they'll say you don't have to do anything. But what happens at that point is any money that you made, let's say we had a ton of subscribers, which we don't, but there's some of these folks, especially I'm guessing Instagram models and stuff, they have an ass ton of followers. Right. So they're probably, I'm assuming, I don't know everything about Instagram, but if it was like YouTube, it's like you could technically make money off that video if you had X amount of subscribers. Well, because you use that song in it, the other person is making the money off of it. So that's why it's like the videos are up, because this individual has a lot of followers that it's allowed to be, somebody else is making a profit off. It's like Puff Daddy gave over all the rights to that Sting song there. Was it Every Breath You Take? Yeah. Like every time that song is played, the Puffy one, Sting makes all the money. Literally none of it goes to Puffy, and none of it goes to any of the other members of the police either. He makes, I think I saw a stat once, he makes $1 million a year on that song, doing nothing, literally nothing.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Wow. I hope that happens with Hey Hatred.
What's that?
I said, I hope that happens with Hey Hatred.
What, that somebody decides to like sample it 40 years from now?
Yeah, that we make $1 million off of that song while doing nothing. That would be an awesome way to go into retirement. 65.
We wouldn't be retiring if we made him.
Hey, if we made him. Yeah, that's me. That's your grandpa.
That's what you're gonna get out of it.
That's what
right there.
Hopefully there's $1 million along with that same feeling that I'm just relayed.
That would be great. Why don't we just start a little bit lower, gray expectations, and start a little lower.
This is not about expectations. This is hope and expectations. Different things.
This is true.
Man, I cannot argue with that. We should probably wrap this up. Angelo, first of all, I know you didn't have to be here for this whole thing, okay? But thank you for staying.
Dude, I loved listening to it. It's very, very interesting, the whole behind the scenes thing. It's, I know what it is. Obviously, I love music. I've sang before. I've done all, whatever. But to hear how it's broken down and how it's like developed from the beginning, from scratch, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I figured if you were bored, you would have just been like, "Yeah, man, I'm out." You kept signing back on, so
no. And yeah, she was good, and the way that she spoke about her, you could just tell how much passion she has for what she does. I mean, to be a chemist and to probably be doing pretty well at what she was doing, and then to be like, "Nope, I'm done, and I'm gonna like just follow my dream," and then like you can tell that how much passion she has behind what she's doing, and that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
No, absolutely. And Angelo, obviously one of the other reasons I brought you on, when everything goes back to normal, obviously you're going to have less time, but we'd like to have you on more frequently, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure Cash as well. You're part of the show already because we haven't had that many episodes. So
listen, I love it. I don't even care what we're talking about. I just like listening to you guys talk. I just love being here and watching you guys.
It's like what I go on.
Could have been at the bar having a drink right now. This would have been the same conversation.
Right? Exactly.
It would have.
There you go.
That's what's so irritating about watching yours, Angelo, is like today, I kept responding as if you could hear me.
I know. I wish I could.
I'm like, pal. Oh, he can't hear me.
You know what I'm gonna do once I stop using that freaking portal thing? Because on Facebook Live on your phone, like you can bring other people on, kind of like this.
You can.
And you could and then they just join in with you. And I'm gonna have to try that out one day just for shits and giggles and see what happens.
Yes. Nate would be a great first person to have on there because he'll just
Heck yeah, dude.
be like, "Is that bacon?"
Is that what? Is that more cheese? Or is it cheese on top of cheese?
Yeah, I've always liked more cheese, dude. It always needs more cheese. I'm like screaming at my phone. I'm like, dude, you know it needs more cheese. Put the whole bag in. Why you put that to the side, man? I get mad.
That's awesome.
Lord, oh,
Well,
well,
it's
everyone,
been real. I appreciate it.
yes,
You guys, anytime, man. I love it. I just, you know me. The reason why I do the stupid videos is because I just want to be interacting with people, and this gives me another chance to just interact with you guys and actually see you guys and talk to you at the same time. This is even better. So whenever you need me or want me, I'm around.
thank you,
Yeah, buddy.
thank you.
Angelo Paperni, check out his cooking show and unboxing.
Yeah.
Week what of boredom? Week like 49?
Dude, it's episode 36.
36 of boredom.
You're turning into
Crazy.
anime.
I don't even know how many, like 36 different recipes. I don't even know how that's even possible. I'm running out of shit.
Delish, man. Delish will keep you straight
That's it.
for years, man. They are they're the bane of my existence.
I'm so hungry right now. I just realized I haven't eaten all day, so I'm gonna
Go
do
eat.
that.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
And we're out of here. Amped Up Podcast signing off. Final word.
Yeah.
Yourself, bitches. We out.
Peace.
See ya.